Version 1, version 2. Are you ready for number 3? Hey, what's happening, guys? Today we are looking at version 3, which would probably be the final version of our Arduino Nano experimenters board. And I only made 2 changes so far. First of all, we added in this transistor here, and it's hooked up to, this is actually D3, digital pin 3. So you can plug something in to digital pin 3 and it'll go with an emitter follower transistor so that you can drive higher current objects. That'll work out pretty neat, I think. Secondly, you see here are our 3 PWM LEDs, and they before each had a 1K resistor. Well, for one of them, the red one, I'm going to add in a 3-pin header. We're not going to use the center pin. And that way you can pop in and pop out your own value resistors so you can experiment with them a little bit. And one final change we're going to make, which is right here on the RGB LED. It was a common cathode before, and I had a bunch of people say they'd rather have a common anode, so we're going to do that. And that should do it for our changes. So I will save this, and then we are going to create a new PCB. Alright, so we're going to keep it under the 100mm limit. So we'll go right at 99, and we'll make this 66. And we will also make it a round rectangular with a 10mm radius. Alright, let's start out by putting some standoff holes in the corner of our board. Oops, we'll have to erase that one, won't we? Trying to line them up as neatly as I can. I had a bunch of guys say they liked watching this, the design process, to kind of see my thinking action coming into it. Well, I hope you enjoy it, because my thinking action sometimes can be a little strange. Alright, so let's start off with putting our power adapter in, and then also the 7805. And then we'll bring over these 2 capacitors. And we'll get them in roughly the same area. Alright, let's see if we can neaten this up a little bit. Sorry, this is just kind of tedious here. This is what the design process kind of looks like. Okay. I'll move this a little further in. Oops. Give me a second. Okay. So we got those there. And then I think that I want to put my Arduino over here on this side of the board. I think. And then I also want to mark it with which pin is the TX pin, so we know how to align the Arduino. We don't want to put it in upside down. There we go. Okay. So what do we fill up the center of the board with? Well, we're going to fill it up with all the other good stuff that goes there. So let's put our transistor over here in this area. And again, we really don't need all that information on there. I'm just going to put NPN. You could use any NPN transistor that you wanted for something like this. Alright, let's move our DHT11 also DHT11, shoot. That's the DHT11. That's our temperature and humidity sensor. Let's just for now we're just going to put it somewhere over here in that area of the board. And then I'm going to put this one back up here so that we have all of those pins or all those headers together. And I think I actually want to rotate them. And they'll come down here somewhere. Okay, I'm going to roughly place the rest of these things so you don't have to sit here and watch me do that, and then we'll come back and we'll fine tune them. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with this so far. We've got our power section here. All of our power components, the DC jack, the voltage regulator, the two capacitors for the regulator, and our reset button. So that's all power. And then we have our SPI and our I2C, which are placed far enough apart that you could get, you know, a couple of displays on there, I think. Then I put our other I2C down here, and that way there's enough room in here that you can get something else going down there as well. So here are our LEDs, and then right next to the LED for the red is the resistor, so you can play around and change that value and see what's going on there. Then over here we just lined up all of our resistors. We have another I2C port. Now you're not going to be able to put something hanging down here because this is where we have our 10K potentiometer. Then here is a D2 with its transistor, so that we can drive, something a little bit more high powered. Then we have our switches over here. Alright, so next comes the really tedious part of getting in all of the specific labeling I want. Okay, all of the labeling is in, like you can see up here for the SPI pin. I need to rotate that, don't I? Then move it up. There we go. So we have our ground, our positive, MISO, MOSI, chip select, and clock. Then for our I2Cs, we have ground, positive, clock, and data. See, when you go back through, you're always discovering something. One thing I'm not really happy with is a DHT11 sitting way over here. Why don't we bring it down in here? Alright, what do you think? Does that look a little better? Yeah, I know. There's a lot of space on the board. You're going to see what's going to happen to that next. So I'm going to try and use all this space in the middle here to kind of print the instructions on how to use this thing. See, but now I don't want that I2C pin there. Alright, how about move all this stuff over. Come on, move. There you go. See that? They weren't even lined up that well. Then we can move this guy down here. Yep. I forgot his labels, I know. Alright, as you can see here, I've added some notations so that folks know what is going on and how to use the different things we have added to the board. So next, we're going to try and add in a couple of logos. The first one is going to be the Arduino logo. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start on the top copper layer, and we're going to put that logo in there. I'm going to make it relatively small, let's say 12 millimeters. And we'll put it right over here, like that. And then I'm going to copy it and we're going to do it again on the top solder mask layer. Thank you to Dustin Watts for showing me this trick. So now I'm going to save this board. Alright, there we go, we're saved. So let's see if we can get a 3D view of it. That doesn't look right. So I must have done the wrong layers. I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to check my layers. So that one is on the top layer, which should be the copper layer, and this one needs to be on the top solder mask layer. Then we'll put it back on top here. Let's check again. Top solder mask. Okay. Let's try another 3D view and see what we get. There we go. Now we've got it. Thank you, Dustin. Good. One more. Okay, back on the top layer. We got one more to do. I apologize, I am no artist. Now I am just checking. That is on the top copper layer. So now I need to go to the top. Well, let me copy it first. Need to go to the top solder mask layer. And we'll paste it. Right on there. There we go. And that needs to go into the top solder mask. And it is. And we'll take one more 3D look. There we go. So that should give us our copper. Alright, time for some routing. Okay, should have the auto router local ready to run. And we'll see what happens here in a minute. There we go. 105, 15 vias. This is all nice and rounded. Let's save it before anything bad happens. Have another 3D look. So the last board we did was red. Let's do this one in purple. No, I don't like the purple and the green. No, we already did green. Yellow. Nah. I think we'll just stick with the red. I like the red. Red and gold. Reminds me of Jerry Montana. Or Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Boy. Sometimes the old brains, you don't fire on all cylinders. Alright, so I'll make the Gerbers and then we'll order some boards. Okay, so I exported the Gerbers. Now all we have to do is click on Quick Order. And we'll add our Gerbers. This is called Nano V3. They look good, and I'm going to get 10 of these. We're going to get them in red. Click there. Okay. Save to cart. And that's it, man. They're ready to roll. There's some of my orders coming up here in the future. We got lots of stuff ready to roll. So now we'll wait about a week until we get our boards. Alright, we got the boards in. Let's open them up and see what we got here. Alright. Well, my copper logo thing did not work out again, of course. But other than that, boards look pretty good. Alright, let's put one together. And got something new to try out. This is a PC board holder made by Avon, and this was sent in by a viewer, Michael W. So Michael, thank you again for all your great support of the channel. All right, I'm going to get this set up and we'll put this board together. Well, I put in a few items here. Pardon my sloppy soldering. Just getting used to this. These are really close to the edge over here. I like this. It's going to take me a little bit of getting used to. But let me show you the way it works. Well, it's one side here it's spring loaded. So you can just kind of push in. Try again. Push in, you can slide your board in like that. Then you can put your components on it, flip it over, your soldering, and flip it back. So yeah, it's not bad. Well, I'm going to finish this off. You guys have seen me solder enough times, you know how it goes, right? Alright, so there she is. Again, I'm embarrassed by that soldering. You don't have to tell me about it. So, I'm thinking this is the final version of this. I'm tired of playing around with it, but yeah. So, you know, the changes we made for this red LED here, we added a spot to put in different resistor values, so you can play around with seeing how that works out. So let me, this is a 330 ohm resistor. Oh boy. There we go. Oh, no. Almost. There it is. Now she's in. So you can change them around like that. We have our SPI header. I put in a rolled pin header here for RGB LEDs. I'm out of RGB LEDs, so there's none there. Then, of course, we have I squared C1, I squared C2, I squared C3. And yeah, depending on what you plug in, where you plug it in, you know, you're going to cover something else up. And that's just the way it is. But let's see if I plug in an OLED screen here. Clock, data, ground plus, just making sure everything's right. Oh, damn it. Just a tiny little bit of interference there. That board. But that's okay. I can just plug it in up here. No problem at all. And then if you've got other I2C devices, like what's this one? SGP30. No, anyway, you can plug them in there as well. Like for instance, here's a buzzer.
That would go in this way. So you can see you can plug in all your different sensors wherever you want. You got DuPont headers here for these. You got your switches, reset, LDR. Whoops, can't see that, can you? All right, let me upload something to this. We'll check it out. Yep, there she is, all set up and running. I just spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out why the OLED wasn't working. Well, it's because there's nothing in the sketch for it. I forgot what sketch I used. But there you can kind of see the, that's the light detecting LED. Then if I press the button here, the red one should come on. It does. And that red one is the one where you can change the resistor value to whatever you want. The yellow one is controlled by the pot here. That controls the brightness. Bright or dim. Then again, we have this down here, D2. Goes through a transistor. Let me upload another sketch so we can make sure the I2C is working. Hang on one second. Here we go, we're uploading. And it's done. And I don't know how well you can see that, but there you go. Everything is good. Make sure the reset works. Yep. All good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll make the Gerbers available on the PCBWay website. Look for a link down below. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Big thanks to all the patrons. Big thanks to PCBWay. That's it. I'm out. Peace.